What would Halloween be without terrifying tales to relate to one another in the pitch black? You'll want to watch, or rewatch, your favorite Halloween movies and see all the witches and vampires. But you'll also need a dose of weird in these 5 horrific ghost stories from around the country. Just as scary as one of these spooky ghost towns field trip anyone. Sure, you'll want to watch, or rewatch, your favorite Halloween movies and see all the witches and vampires. They are guaranteed to bring a thrilling scare to your Halloween season for everyone from teenagers to adults, and each one may be read in a relatively short amount of time. If you go to Street Francisville in the state of Louisiana, you can catch a glimpse of a ghost named Chloe who haunts the Myrtles plantation. You should begin your journey in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, at the Crescent Hotel, which is rumored to be haunted by spirits. From there, go on to Abbeville, Alabama, to learn about the haunting of Hug and Molly. The crying lady is said to have been spotted in New York City's The Dakota, which is located on the East Coast. Prepare yourself to watch these terrifying tales videos, or put them away until the evening, so you can watch them dramatically with low lighting and some creepy music playing in the background for the full effect. Be wary of inviting any friends or family members who might be easily frightened to listen to them. Let's start, but if you're new, then do subscribe to our channel. Number 5. Sloss Furnaces, the city of Birmingham, Alabama. Birmingham, Alabama was established in 1865, which was 5 years after the end of the Civil War. Sloss Furnaces were initially conceived of by Colonel James Withers Sloss in 1871 in response to the growing demand for tons of pig iron to be used in the rebuilding of the United States' deteriorating infrastructure. According to the company's official website, 1 year later, the business started hiring hundreds of people for various positions. Work in blast furnaces was highly skilled, but also extremely hazardous, and a number of workers started dying after being crushed or falling into the furnaces. According to Reader's Digest, by the early 1900s, circumstances had deteriorated, and a vicious foreman named James "Slag" Wormwood was in charge. Wormwood would take deadly risks in order to improve productivity. During his time as CEO of Sloss, the company was responsible for the tragic deaths of nearly half of its employees and the injuries of many more. In 1906, it is alleged that his coworkers took revenge on him by throwing him into a fire. If you have the courage, you can still explore the grounds of Sloss Furnaces even in modern times. You might even hear Slag saying, "Get back to work," in addition to experiencing other possible paranormal occurrences. Number 4. Weatherford, Oklahoma's Dead Woman's Crossing. According to Atlas Obscura, this one has all the makings of a standard murder mystery turned ghost story. After submitting a petition for divorce to her husband, Katie DeWitt James moved out of their house in Weatherford, Oklahoma, in the early 1900s, taking their young child with her. She had every intention of moving in with her cousin, but her family never heard from her again after she disappeared. It was discovered through the course of an investigation that she had moved in with a local prostitute by the name of Franny Norton. The last time anyone saw her, she was riding away from the house with Franny and the baby in a carriage. Franny made her way back with the infant, who was drenched in blood when she arrived, but Katie was nowhere to be seen. Later, her body was discovered beside a nearby creek, and her head had been severed from her body. It was said that her ex-husband had Franny help him kill her, but Franny maintained that she had nothing to do with Katie's passing and denied any involvement. But on the day when the police were about to question her, she ingested poison and committed suicide instead. However, Katie has not disappeared completely. People have reported hearing a woman searching for her kid, as well as the sound of wheels rolling around, and it is said that she manifests herself as a blue light that floats around the town. Number 3. 3 Stories of the Bell Witch in Adams, Tennessee. If you are a fan of horror movies, you may already be familiar with the legend of the Bell Witch. The narrative served as the inspiration for both the film An American Haunting and the film The Blair Witch Project. A man named John Bell relocated his family to what was then known as the Red River region of Tennessee, which is now the location of Adams, Tennessee. This event took place in the early 1800s. After they had moved in and made themselves at home in their new house, they began to experience some strange occurrences. The Bell family started to become aware of some peculiar sounds, such as dogs yapping, chains rattling, rats gnawing, and a woman hushing. Soon after, that woman became known as the Bell Witch, and many people believe that she is the specter of Kate Batts, who had formerly lived in the house next door to the Bell family. Batts and the Bell family had a disagreement regarding the ownership of some land, and Batts had vowed vengeance against the Bell family before she passed away. Later on, Bell passed away from poisoning, and it's believed that the Bell Witch was responsible for his death. Number 2. Haunted happenings at the Crescent Hotel in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. You can spend the night in the Crescent Hotel, which first opened its doors in 1886 and is located in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. A worker by the name of Michael was tragically died when the building was being constructed, and some claim that his ghost can still be seen in room 218. In 1937, a guy named Norman Baker, who thought himself to be a doctor, but was actually a charlatan in the medical field, purchased the hotel. In spite of the fact that he did not, evidently, possess a treatment for the condition, he remodeled the hotel into the Baker Cancer Hospital and began treating patients there. Patients who passed away while in his care were cremated or buried right in the basement of the hotel, which functioned as an impromptu morgue. He was taken into custody in 1940, but it is alleged that the souls of his patients continue to linger. Despite the fact that it is still operational, visitors frequently report seeing apparitions and hearing noises while they are staying at the hotel. Even footage of something moving in the basement has been captured on the sci-fi show Ghost Hunters. Number 1. Abbeville, Alabama's Hug and Molly. If you wish to avoid Hug and Molly's icy embrace after the sun goes down in Abbeville, Alabama, it is in your best interest to remain inside your home at that time. According to the urban legend, beginning in the early 1900s, a large figure dressed in all black began prowling the streets at night in search of those who were unaware that they were being watched. When she has someone in her sights, she immediately grabs them in a bear hug and yells very loudly into their ears. A great number of people have related tales of being pursued by an individual or something that they believe to be Hug and Molly. Even the parents of the area's children have resorted to using the narrative as a disciplinary tool for their children. The community is extremely supportive of its Midnight Warden and proudly refers to themselves as the home of Hug and Molly. There is also a restaurant in her honor that welcomes children and is geared toward families. Here's a bonus entry: the ghost of the Sereny House in Sereny, Georgia. In the 1870s, members of the Sereny family in what is now the city of Sereny, Georgia, began reporting encounters with the supernatural. Members of the family described seeing objects fly across rooms, hearing laughter and sobbing, and seeing red eyes peering into the house. They also saw red eyes staring into the house. The food was flung off their plates, and the utensils were twisted into configurations that rendered them useless. The citizens of the town hypothesized that the incidents were the ghosts' attempts to communicate with the family because they believed the living members of the household might aid them. It is said that on the day that the family decided to leave the house for good, a fire iron started floating around in the air and started hitting one of the sons on the head. The house was never inhabited again since nobody was ever bold enough to live there, and in 1925, the building was destroyed by fire. So which encounter scared you the most? Tell us in the comments and subscribe to our channel for more creepy videos. Thanks for watching.